Okay, there's a prelude to all of this. First thing I want to mention is there's basically 3 basic left-hand turns. Most of them are predicated on the dog's height relative to the handler, the allowance for leash length, certain other factors, and ultimately comfort. So basically, you can either lead with your right or your left. The Keeler book talks about what they call the fencer's lunge, which is where Bill Keeler is actually slapping the leash in a backwards motion while he's crossing in front of the dog. You can do that relatively aggressively. Here, sit. Good lad. You can do that relatively aggressively with a moderate to large sized dog because the impact of the dog is going to occur between mid-shoulder and mid-cheek and roughly from where your leg meets your body to the top of your knee. Safety is a big issue with this because if you try some of these things, if you don't practice them, you can fall, you can hurt yourself, so you need to be really, really careful. The other iteration of the turn is basically the same turn with your left hand slapping the leash back and leading with your right leg in a 90-degree turn. Knee up towards the chest, pivot, and go. That way you're driving through the dog. Again, depending on the dog's position is going to determine whether or not impact actually occurs. You kind of want impact to occur because what you're trying to do is send a message to the dog, do not interfere with my rate of travel. The third method is a bit of a hybridization and essentially is very effective for extremely large dogs or dogs who are tall relative to their owner's height. And essentially what we do, it's a very aggressive correction, and I've used it successfully on dogs like Danes or large tall breed dogs. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cinch up my leash like I was going to for a sit correction. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to draw my leash across my body from left to right towards my right shoulder in an arc that tightens the leash up and draws the dog up and in as I impact with my with my right knee into the dog. Again, same thing is going to happen. I'm going to force impact to occur because the message must be very clear. Do not interfere with my direction or rate of travel. So again, that final correction is essentially the leash being drawn across my body from left to right as I turn with my right leg into the dog to drive him off of my left side. And that's it.